Good morning, viewers of Zelda Universe TV. It is I, Elias Thompson, back on your screen again for another weekend in a row. This time in the top part of the screen instead of that bottom corner where returning Realms guest John is here to play a character that is not Atticus.
What?
Wait, that's
so
not
you
what I
think.
signed up for.
Or maybe he is. I don't know.
Hey, Elias, what are you talking about?
Hello everyone.
Pretty sure that breaks a law somewhere.
This is illegal in several states, including the state of New Jersey. So
No one cares about the state of New Jersey.
Hey,
New Jersey is
You
barely a
don't live
state.
there anymore.
We just talked
It's
about
New York
like
light.
Idaho and Montana. Like, how can you okay? Hello, welcome to Stargate SG1 RPG one shot. I'm somewhat prepared to run this thing that I'm very excited to run. This will be a one shot, rare footage of an actual one shot on these series of one shots. Because we have other stuff coming in the weeks ahead. LaCroix of New York. That's
LaCroix.
there's a lot to unpack there.
Great comment.
Imp, I'm going to fight your ass.
So it's a lot to unpack.
I swear to God.
So no matter how we end, this is the end. 2 hours from now, Elias.
In terms of announcements, to change the subject, so if you haven't heard, a new Zelda game has come out. It is available in any form anywhere except collector's edition. Good luck. And it is big and good. We have been playing it all week here on the channel. You saw me defeat it Monday night. If you watched that channel, but if you didn't, then I don't blame you, because spoilers and stuff. We have been covering the game, The Legend of Zelda: Tears of the Kingdom, just for clarification, because I haven't said the name yet. In multiple facets on Zelda Universe. In addition to that, live coverage that we've had this past week, and should probably spill into the coming weeks as well. Facets of it will perhaps appear in campaign 2, which we announced last weekend is going to be called Tears of the Realms. It will be premiering. I have to look up my calendar every time on June 17th, Saturday, June 17th, 9 a.m. And will hopefully be weekly for the foreseeable future. So, and that uses the cipher system that Jody ran a 2-shot with the last 2 weekends. Be slightly different from what we did, but the same basic system. Mm-hmm. So that is coming up. We have, after this, I want to say 3 more one shots to do. So it is coming up. We have been pumping out guides for the game on the Zelda Universe TV website. We have been doing video coverage in both short and long form content on various video platforms. I think social media is posting memes about the game. You know the memes I'm talking about. I don't have to explain myself. Is there anything I'm forgetting, Lex, around all that?
I don't think so.
Cool. Let's play the game. Don't be like John. Don't put it off.
Don't be like Elia. Don't put it off.
I have the end of the school year.
All of the hate
That's
for
not
us.
me.
I beat it on Thursday, so and then I went back to
Also,
playing
like,
it more.
I'm
My
not gonna
favorite
be able
part
to
is
play it more than 30 minutes at a time, anyways. So
That's fair.
my favorite part is seeing all the memes that I absolutely do not understand and being completely bewildered by most of them.
My favorite thing so far has been thirsting over characters.
My favorite thing has
Surprising
been
absolutely no one.
putting rocks on sticks and then yelling at my television screen, "Fear my bonk stick!"
My favorite is seeing all the war crimes.
I'm following the folklore of the arm because I think that there's an academic paper there.
Oh, you have no idea.
Nerd.
That's right. Like, so my inclination from the first trailer is correct.
I don't know, but you would enjoy the lore of that game.
Everyone's wondering, it's a good game, so you should probably play it.
Yeah. Does anyone else?
Also, it sold like 10 million copies in 3 days. So
Yeah. It's a big slap to the Metroid series face, but we deal with it.
I've enjoyed the memes of it just killing Scarlet and Violet. Like, in terms,
I haven't
people are
seen that
just
one, but I approve.
oh, much better. Yeah,
works.
The only way you would have
I love
approved
Pokemon,
more of
I
it was
can't
Metroid.
stand it.
it's more stable than Scarlet and Violet by a lot.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. An open world game on the Switch that doesn't crash every 10 minutes? That's crazy.
I've
It's
never
not
had
possible.
Scarlet or Violet crash. I've had it run like for like 10 frames a second.
I've had both.
I've crashed and I
Well, that's-
managed to get frozen at the end of a raid, and it didn't change for 24 hours.
Although, if you light enough of your surroundings on fire in Tears of the Kingdom, you can approach 10 frames a second pretty quickly.
Thank you. I will take that.
I love, like, there's a couple different ways to make it chug. I love that Elias's is light enough things on fire, and
Listen,
knows
if
his
there's
audience.
anything you need to know about Elias, Elias is very good at arson.
Yeah. Any other announcements people have that is not claiming wildly and unfoundedly that Elias is an arsonist?
I didn't
Anyone else
say
want to
any
accuse
arson.
someone of a
It's
crime?
just that you are good at it.
I'm so good at murder. I've never murdered anyone, of course, but I'm so good at it.
I mean, theoretically, I'm not going to continue that sentence.
Oh,
My course evals came out, and my students like me.
yay!
That's good.
I
I
started
had a
the
friend
internship
that
this
used to
week.
teach criminology in college, and they went, "I am either training the next best cops or the next best serial killer."
I had that feeling in my forensic science class in undergrad. I looked around and I was like, most of you will not go into law enforcement of any kind. How many of you will use this for evil?
Fun fact about criminology, I'm in the town where there was a quadruple homicide not too long ago that was national news.
Oh,
Oh, congratulations!
So
Yep.
now we all know where he is.
Yeah.
Moscow, Idaho, not a big deal.
He said he was driving yesterday. I'm like, oh, where are you going? He goes, Moscow. I'm like, you made good time. Wow, all right.
I don't know. Are we even allowed to travel to Russia? I don't
know.
You can't drive there, I'll guarantee you that.
Not right now.
I figure if you could find a way to drive there in an hour's time from where we are, like, no one could stop you.
I have a Stargate, bro.
Oh, well, there you go.
Doesn't Russia own something near Alaska? So technically you could drive to Russia.
There was a land bridge. I don't believe there's anything there anymore.
Yeah, not the land bridge.
maybe if you drive over, like, find a nice streak of ice over the North Pole. Anyway,
at those temperatures, your car would stop working.
we're not in
Those temperatures, you would stop working.
Yeah,
I just stopped.
That's less important.
Sure.
It's okay. I put a I put a fire fruit on the top of my engine, and now it's warm enough to not be affected by unbearable cold.
I hadn't thought about that.
It's because it's fiction. Does anyone have anything else before we get started?
I start my internship this week
Could
and I'm
use
very
it.
excited.
You're quiet.
I start my internship this week and I'm very excited.
He always is.
Yay!
He's very loud in person and very quiet on stream. It's the duality
Only
of Lex.
because I say things away from my microphone.
Just no spatial awareness.
Never.
What is it that you were saying, John?
I was gonna make a Stargate joke. It's gone. The time has passed.
Wow.
Something about Nakwita engines. I don't know.
Well, keep that joke in mind as we now find ourselves as part of the Stargate program. Earth's Stargate. Oh, right, yeah. If I had had any time in the past few weeks, I would have done what Lex did and made a Stargate SG-1-esque intro. Also, if I had your characters and knew who was going
I
to play.
considered doing a last on Avatar for mine, and I did not have time.
Yeah, these are all ideas that we would have brought to you, and so we were thinking about all of you, the viewers, while we did. Anyway, names across the screen, dramatic music, wormholes, Stargate, Earth Stargate SG program.
No notes.
Began when the Stargate was unearthed in Egypt in 1928. The device was brought to the United States in 1939 to keep it out of Nazi hands, and it was installed deep beneath Cheyenne Mountain in Colorado. When it was discovered that there were grave threats in the universe in the form of the Goa'uld system lords, the United States established Stargate Command under the command of General Hammond. 9 teams, known as Stargate Teams, or SG-1 through 9, were initially created to travel to the gate to assess threats, open negotiations with other civilizations, and procure technology to defend Earth. As the SG teams went on missions, contact was made with several intelligent races, as well as distant Earth descendants, which were under the control or influence of the Goa'uld. These team visits were many times a spark that lit the freedom-fighting spirits of those worlds. As more and more refugees from alien worlds began to rise up, a classified site authorized by the president and headed up by General P.K. Lawyer was created. Its mission is to establish an off-world Stargate site called Phoenix Site, which brings together and trains the freedom-fighting individuals from worlds oppressed by the Goa'uld system lords. Once trained, these highly functional SG teams are sent on missions with the defense of the universe in mind. You, recruits, are members of the selection process to be placed on one of these teams. So, all of you have come from very different backgrounds, very different worlds that are not of this Earth or of Earth, potentially. Where we begin today's adventure is, of course, in the gate room. This is very similar. It's kind of zoomed in on stream. But if you've ever seen the gate room from the show in Cheyenne Mountain, it's very similar here on Phoenix Site. It's a very underground, mountain-embedded complex. The gate room is named after the fact that is where they house and operate the Stargate. And all of you are inside it right now. You are currently there, and as recruits, unfortunately, you don't have the most glamorous of jobs and assignments right now. For you are not yet on an SG team. You are still learning the ropes. And therefore, you are prepping the gate room, prepping various equipment, cleaning, for a mission to the Jaffa world of Clem that you are not a part of because you are doing the grunt work in the gate room. Why don't we begin with the diplomat? Would you like to physically describe your character?
No.
Okay.
Lex and I are in the same place. I've never seen a Stargate episode and knew about the thingy.
Everything you just said, I'm like, yes, those are words. And then you said
I was like,
something of
hey.
Clem, and I went, I don't know what that means. We're gonna move on.
Yeah. So I will say that I chose the Aturan race. That's how I'm pronouncing that. And I don't know what they look like.
There's a small picture right under your face.
Great.
But
look
to
like
help you
They
out,
look like that.
to help you out, they have very, very volumetric white hair that is usually accented with various colors and various natural plants, usually occasionally spruced throughout. They do have pointed ears, so they do resemble elves in that respect. And they come from a far-off world that had, as you can tell by their appearance, heavy Nox influence as part of their history. They have eventually realized that they can't allow the system lords, the Goa'uld, to have their way with the galaxy, or their world could be at risk again. So, someone who looks like that, and there's a couple of pictures. I use the same picture for both you and Lex because I'm just using stock photos here.
I will say that the plants, there are ferns and other things that thrive in humid, wet environments.
Yeah. So
I chose a rainforest origin.
So as a diplomat, a specialist, someone who talks through things as your main contribution to these things, you kind of look around the gate room and you're just kind of just trying to figure out what to do, because you see some people trying to fix up some sort of like roving device that you just can't remember the name of. You've taken in a lot of knowledge at once in your time here. You see some people moving some things around, and you did help out with that a little bit. But as you sort of take a break to supervise, you notice that working in the sort of side of the gate room, there is a technician who is undoubtedly human, and humans are very common. You deal with them quite a bit. This one seems a little different from most of the humans on the base, though. You see from their attire, from their sort of demeanor. One thing you do remember is that one of the first worlds, human worlds, that the people of the Tari, or Earth, came in contact with was Abydos. And this human over here seems to be from that planet. You can sort of remember the details to be convinced of that. And you sort of see them to the side. They're kind of just off and on, like looking around. They sort of make eye contact with you a few times, and then they kind of just go back, and they have a very solemn and anxious sort of disposition and expression on their face. You sort of see them like lingering at the exit door every so often, looking that way. They make enough eye contact with you occasionally to sort of be inviting your presence should you decide to act on that. Would you like to act on that?
Sure, yes. I'll head over there. I'm not doing any good just standing around.
Okay. You head over and you see that they're like working on the gate itself, like checking, some sort of fluid or something. Oh, hi.
Hello.
Sorry, I was just finishing up. Did you need something?
I'm just wondering what you're doing.
I'm and you sort of just see them just struggling to even just answer a basic question. Something's very heavily weighing on their mind. I'm fixing the coolant, but if I'm being perfectly honest, I'm mostly just wondering if I've made a huge mistake. I miss my home so much. I feel like the people, my tribe, I was so helpful there, and then I came here to help the greater galaxy, but I just feel like, I don't know, I'm not doing much, or I'm not doing a good enough job. Maybe I should just go home. I don't know.
So you wanted to help the greater galaxy?
Yes, the people of the Tari here, they helped liberate my planet from the Goa'uld, from Ra, and I wanted to give back in whatever way I could, but I just feel like whatever way that is just isn't good enough.
Well, I'm sorry you feel that way. But every contribution, no matter how small, is good enough.
Go ahead and roll a persuasion check.
Sure.
First roll.
7.
That's a natural 1.
Yeah.
Good first roll. It's gonna go great.
Strong.
You guys are definitely not gonna
throw that
TPK.
shit-
Yeah.
I would say throw that shit in jail, but you're rolling digital, so you.
We're all dead. Let's go home.
A
Yay.
nuke goes off in the
Y'all
gate
died.
room. The end.
Bye, everybody.
Yeah, that's fun. I have a +6 in persuasion.
Um,
So 7.
maybe you're right. I don't know. I kind of feel like I would do more good back home than here on this world with everyone here. Everyone here's so strange. Oh, no offense. I'm sorry. And they kind of just like try to refocus on whatever task they were doing. So while that fire is burning, the engineer.
If you don't want people to think you're an arsonist, don't use fire metaphors.
Oops.
Would you like to physically describe your character? Engineer.
Is that? I wasn't sure if anyone else.
There's one engineer. There's one of each class.
Other about these.
Okay. Hirush wears kind of the traditional Tok'ra kind of when he's not on a mission, he wears kind of the traditional Tok'ra kind of beige leathers, and is relatively tall, short brown hair, clean shaven.
So seemingly very, very human looking, but with definitive non-Tari attire, non-Earth attire of approximately the year 2002. I think that's the year this takes place. So, Tarush, you as an engineer are focused on the Fred, which is the name of this sort of scouting machine device. It's very commonly used in every Stargate base, and uses to kind of just make sure things are habitable and okay on the other side for a team to go through as you dial up. As you're sort of are inspecting it and making sure it's ready to go, you do find, oddly enough, a yellow sticky note that's attached to the left side, and it's odd. These usually do not come equipped with the sticky note on the side. So upon further inspection, you look and read it and see a note that reads, "Reminder to Kaylee, the all-wheel drive is not functioning correctly. It wounds my heart to abandon this machine, but I must make sure the Malps are ready for service. What should I name this one? Signed, Kaylee." So it would seem that the base's Malp operator, Kaylee, noted that something was wrong with this Fred machine and did not have time to fix it.
They specifically mentioned the all-wheel drive. Being an engineer, can I try and jury rig the all-wheel drive to actually get it working correctly?
Sure. Go ahead and make an engineering check.
Cool. That is 15.
15. So you look at this this Malp, and you've been on the base an amount of time to get the basic schematics, and compared to Toker technology, Atari technology is near primitive, but they make it work for them. So you look at this all-wheel drive, and you're familiar with the basics of Fred and their sort of wheeled vehicles, and yeah, you're able to sort of connect a few loose wires in a very creative way. You do some smoke tests. It seems to be good. Go ahead and take a reroll as a reward for that success, that you can bank for later to be used in a skill check, ability check, saving throw, and attack roll.
Yay!
As
We will need that badly.
this Fred is ready to drive through the Stargate. The soldier. Would you like to physically describe your character, or would you like me to help you?
Help. I am one of them, Turans. One of those elf-looking motherfuckers. And that's it. That's all I know. Help.
So very similar looking to the diplomat. They're clearly the same species. Viren. I'm reading all these names out loud for the first time.
VRN.
Wait, did we both choose V names?
Yeah, you did.
We both created these independently in vacuums.
Yeah.
I'm Vex. She's Vex.
Yep. I'm the Vex in this one.
Yeah, by the way, my name's Vanel.
Viren, or Viren. Viren, sorry. Viren is clearly more used to doing physical things, talking with their hands and quick to action, whereas Juvenal, you use your words as your weapons. So lots of muscle mass, and it's coming in handy as you are kind of looking over, and you've kind of been assigned a quick little task to just do some sort of move some crates over onto the Fred sort of machine, and you see Tarush sort of fixing something up there on the side. You see it's a little heavy, so you call over someone else to help you out. The scout. Would you like to physically describe your character?
Yeah, so he is a somewhat tall, I wouldn't say skinny, but definitely like lanky looking guy with a symbol stamped into his forehead, and he is wearing just a typical Tari jumpsuit, military jumpsuit, but is carrying or has a sort of weird like armor piece over it that looks like it's sort of half mangled. He's got a bunch of scars. He looks not old, but weathered for sure.
Yeah. And Viaran, the symbol on the head is a dead giveaway, although it takes you a minute because he's very dressed in Tari attire, that he is a Jaffa, which for years they were sort of enslaved by the Goa'uld, and in many places still are. They're sort of used as their servants. However, a number of Jaffa worlds have been freed due to the efforts that everyone involved in this base have been making in recent years. He seems to be one of them, and he seems to have embraced Tari culture in some way. And so the two of you then begin loading these crates onto the Fred. I would like both of you to make perception checks.
Perception?
Yes.
Are you sure it's not investigation?
Absolutely.
Are you positive? Last call. Are you sure it's not investigation?
What is it?
The 4. I have a 6 minus 2.
I didn't roll the worst.
Oh, you did roll a 1.
You were a natural
I
1.
know, but my bonus made it so I didn't get the worst score. Thank you, Lex.
Natural
I
1
feel better.
still is a natural 1.
I
Remind me
still
why
got a
roll
higher
20
score
has
than
two
you.
numbers.
Has what?
Remind me why roll 20 shows 2 numbers.
I think it's auto rolling advantage.
Yeah, if you have advantage or disadvantage, it's just auto doing it.
That's why I'm rolling.
So which number should I?
I think the first number.
18.
Okay. So, Bjorn, you're loading these crates. You're a man on a mission. Just trying to get these crates one to the other. Keltec, you assist this guy, and you look at these crates, and you're pretty used to how the Tari label things on these crates, that you have a very just natural instinct at this point almost of how things should be marked, how things should be good. And you notice, which Bjorn does not seem to, that one of these crates should not be here, is not correct. That this incorrect crate, according to its label and how it's labeled, contains transmission fluid, grease, and antifreeze, which, if placed in the place that you're loading this onto the Fred, if there was too much of a bump or a rupture, say if the all-wheel drive was malfunctioning, bad things could happen. So you catch that, especially because this is sort of a relief mission that you're loading up for, as you've been told, and it should be like, food and snacks and supplies.
I turn and I I say, Bree, what is this crate? It should not be like this.
Huh? What? What crate?
This one. It should not be here. This crate is danger.
Is there like a label on it that tells me what it is?
Yeah, I'd be like pointing to it.
Once you point it out, like you've just been so preoccupied with just loading off and on, and you realize, oh, this should not be here.
Yeah, why? How did this even get? Wow. All right, let's take it off.
At this point, I've also like stopped. I'm just kind of like looking around for maybe a higher up or somebody.
While you look for that, you can also briefly take a reroll to use later for a skill check, ability check, saving throw, or attack roll.
So what am I rolling?
Nothing. It's you get a free reroll later if you're not satisfied with a later roll.
Got it.
It's like a reroll token or something. But I give it to you. Chat does not.
Wow. Wow.
Feel that control. No, I am the only one that gives out the rerolls.
Yes.
Did you enable the ability for chat to get rewards?
Not today. Although I'm pretty sure I left the eschatology code rewards on, so if anyone redeems them, I will refund them. So as you're looking around for a higher up, just like looking for confirmation of just like, hey, we're not loading this for a reason and waiting to explain. As you finish up the sort of all-wheel drive Tarush and Vanel, feeling slightly dejected about how that conversation with the Avedonian went. To your left, as you're all looking sort of away from the gate, the very reinforced gate room door starts to slide open. And this is very much like Earth military base, like bunker door, like made to seal off a room in case of an emergency. That's just the normal door here. As it begins to sort of slide open, you see people you've heard were here. They have to do with the mission to this Jaffa world. You see a delegation of Jaffa, dressed very differently than the Jaffa you've been working with here in the room. And they're being escorted by two humans in Air Force full dress uniforms. You obviously recognize one of the humans as General Lawyer. He runs the base. He's been appointed to oversee operations. He's got a very stocky build and very unmistakable, just like almost goggle glasses. The other human takes you a little while to recognize because you've never seen him before, but it doesn't take really any of you very long because you've heard tales of his exploits and his team's exploits. The casual demeanor, the sort of just air of competence while also laxness. You gather that this man is Colonel Jack O'Neill, who leads SG-1, the very first SG team that was created. So these two humans are sort of guiding this delegation of Jaffa into the room. Their forehead tattoos are different than Keltek's. These tattoos have a very like almost feline-esque looking design to them. Keltek, you would recognize this symbol. These Jaffa, you assume, did and no longer do serve the system Lord Bastet. So you see,
when I see them, I mumble under my breath in a reverent tone, Shova.
A slender Jaffa, sort of with long braided black hair, who's wearing a very ceremonial sash, whereas the other two are kind of just in Jaffa issued armor. She goes up to the general and she goes, "We thank you, General, for your hospitality and supplies." "Not at all, Devak." And this is a general lawyer who's talking. And Devak, evidently the leader of this delegation, turns to face Colonel O'Neill, who you look and you can see is just bored out of his mind, does not want to be here, does not clearly like to do whatever pomp and pageantry they have been doing and continue to do. And he kind of like starts to make his way over to the Fred and starts to kind of gently kick the tires out of boredom when Devak, the leader of this delegation, tries to engage. "And thank you, O'Neill, and your SG-1 for helping to liberate us from Bastet." And he kind of perks up. "Yeah, sure, no problem." And he kind of just forces a grin to sort of just like, yeah. And the general lawyer continues to speak with Devak, and they seem to be saying some of the goodbyes as O'Neill, wanting an out, kind of meanders over to where the four of you are and just says, "So, what's going on over here? Away from that."
Well,
and he seems to just want to engage you all as an escape.
Well, the all-wheel drive on this vehicle was malfunctioning, so I was able to rewire a few things, and it is now 100% functional.
That is fantastic work. Good job. You? Tarush. Lovely Tok'ra name. Sorry, are you the Tok'ra or are you the host? Who am I speaking with?
And you actually just... He is Tarush. I am Makresh. We have heard much of your exploits, Colonel O'Neill.
And I have definitely heard of you before. Nice box. He's looking at this incorrectly labeled box that you guys are still holding as you were looking for a superior. Then this all started to happen.
Yeah, this is a nice box. It's got good geometry to it.
Is wrong
in the
box.
right place.
Box should not be on this thread.
Wrong box.
Somehow it got put in the correct. Somehow it got mixed up with something. We're dealing with it. Don't worry about it.
He kind of meanders over and looks at the side of the box. "Oh yeah, those aren't grapes at all." Yeah, no. You just put those to the side. We don't need to bring.
Yeah, we're just gonna push them to the side.
Vanel, you're kind of in this group, but have not sort of been engaged yet. You kind of glance over to the conversation that the general's having with the delegation, and you're not specifically eavesdropping on that per se, but you do just overhear naturally some phrases from that conversation, such as, "We are hesitant to join you, and some of the Jaffa are fearful of Bastet's return, and we will discuss this more after the celebration." So if there's...
Yeah. I'm sorry. My initial thought was to make them feel better by telling them I'm proficient with handling animals. I don't do that.
Okay.
I'm going to listen and take in as much information as I can.
Okay. Go ahead and roll an insight check.
Cool, I can use my charisma when I do that. I don't know. So I'm just going to roll one of my things with charisma instead, and I'm proficient in it. So I'm going to roll one of the things with proficiency and hope I don't get a 1. I got a 10.
Okay.
So I rolled a 4. Something's wrong because it's
Have you
giving
considered
me
using actual dice?
I don't have them with me.
Oh,
So we're
well.
going to use a different RNG. And by something's wrong, I don't mean just because I'm rolling low, because it gives 2 numbers, and every time I've had the exact same 2 numbers. So I think something's going in incorrectly. So I'm going to get an RNG out. We can go with that. I'm just for going forward.
Yeah. So with the 10 insight, you can see that the leader of this delegation, Devok, seems to be, despite the specific phrases you've heard, generally happy and potentially excited at the prospect of allying with Phoenix Sight, but does seem to be nervous and hesitant for reasons you can't really decipher. So Colonel O'Neill, as he's just making small talk or attempting to make small talk with the group of you, he goes, listen, guys, here about 30 minutes after they go back, I'm supposed to go through the gate, show up at some big feast they're holding in my honor for what we did for them. I am not a fan of the limelight. And when it's forced upon me, it's much easier to share it so that everyone is not always talking to me all at once. So are you guys doing anything right now? You guys busy?
I kind of look around like, well, the Fred is working optimally, so I have no other current plans.
I mean, we just gotta put these boxes up in this thing, and then we're good.
That's great. And what about you? It points to you, Fennel.
I would be happy to assist.
Fantastic. I love this team spirit that you guys have. This whole whatever it is. Anyway, I'll talk to the general. You guys can come with. That sounds good to me. Then you can get your feet wet as recruits going through the gate.
I have been through the gate many times.
Same. Many times.
And he just kind of takes a moment and realizes that like all of you are from different worlds. He goes, right. Well, I'm going to walk this way now, and I will see all of you back here in a few minutes. Be sure to gear up. And he kind of walks back towards the general, who seems to be wrapping up. You start to see and witness like the Stargate behind you, which has been dormant this whole time, begin to spin in place and act movement. Since all of you from different worlds, you guys instantly recognize that the gate is beginning to dial. You assume this Jaffa world that the delegation is returning to. You instinctively clear the immediate vicinity of the gate. There's a bit of wormhole fluctuation whenever it activates, where if you're standing in front of it, very bad things happen. The gate dials, the seven chevrons engage and lock in, and the wormhole appears. Very rippling blue, sort of almost pane of water that is vertically set within this gate. And all three of the Jaffa delegation walk through. So
I look at the rest of the people's, like, our group, and I, with like a puzzling look, and I'd be like, what does he mean by gear up? I thought this was a celebration. What do we need gear for?
The Tari tend to prefer to be over-prepared for situations that may or may not happen.
Yes, I'm still learning these things about them. Sometimes that is good, sometimes I don't know.
Their track record does speak for themselves, though I can't help but agree with your sentiment.
So as this happens, and Colonel O'Neill has briefly spoken to the general and gone off. The general kind of walks up to you all and is just like, "It would seem that you all are accompanying the colonel on this mission, so if you go down to the armory and pick up your base kit, gear up, you are authorized to join him."
Thank you, General.
Very good. And he goes off to the back and seems to leave you to your own devices. You guys know where the armory is. You guys know what the base kit is. If you have not already attached it to your characters, you do get a 1 prep base kit. And you slightly change whatever sort of working attire you had into sort of field attire, mission attire. So you are now geared up to go through the gate. And you come back to the room, and Colonel O'Neill is kind of standing there waiting for you. He seems to be slightly more geared than all of you. And he's like, "Great. Seems like we're ready to go." And we spin it up, and he just makes a very flourished, over-dramatic gesture to start the dialing sequence. And on cue, the gate starts to spin. The same sort of constellation sequence you see from last time, going to the same place. He kind of turns to you right before the gate activates. It's like, I was going to say something very inspiring for recruits here, but I'm seeing that all of you have been through the Stargate already several times. So I got nothing.
I have been traveling through the Stargate longer than you have been alive, Colonel O'Neill.
Enjoy the show! And the gate activates.
Okay, bye!
The gate activates, and you guys see the Fred that you guys have been preparing for this mission immediately starts to lurch ahead very smoothly, and goes through the gate, disappears, much like the delegation did. Colonel O'Neill also kind of just like trots ahead, gives a sort of parting gesture to you, and just sort of prances through the gate. And then the 4 of you are standing in front of it.
I go to walk through the gate, as I've done hundreds of times before.
I also
will
ceremoniously just walk through.
I follow.
Okay. So you step through. You see the typical visual phenomenon that comes with stepping through a Stargate, almost instantaneously, just stepping across the galaxy from planet to planet. And you come out on the other side, and as many times as all of you have been through a gate, you have definitely never seen a world like this one before. You find yourself in the middle of a very celebrating, mid-celebration town. There are colored banners that stream overhead from brick building to brick building. This seems to be somewhat located in a city, and it's definitely not always the case, the Stargate. There are many, many Jaffa around you, all of them with that same Bastet symbol printed on their head. They're dressed in outfits that resembles tigers and panthers and lion costumes, and everyone's dancing to very, very upbeat, energetic music. You also see, basically on every single open surface that you see, just domesticated cats. There are cats everywhere. Everywhere you see, people are dressed up as cats. There are domesticated cats, just on any windowsill or table
So
or
what
steps.
I'm hearing is that Andrew remembers cats is canon in this universe.
Can I pet a
yes. Can you what?
cat? Pet a cat.
Sure. Roll animal handling.
Yay!
I disregard the cats.
Hey, animal handling works in the system now. I got
What was it?
23.
23. Oh, it's not enough.
I have a +5 in animal handling.
This cat's DC was 25, so no.
Wow.
23. You go right up to one of these cats that's actually just lounging on the steps of the gate, and you sort of just walk up, and these cats seem to be very used to people being around. A lot of commotion with the Stargate being as close as it is and the celebration, and he's just vibing. So you go up and you try to pet the cat, and he allows it, no problem, leans into it a little bit.
I do the official hand thing where I let them sniff and make the choice themselves.
Yeah, you're pretty sure you're best friends now.
I
We're
would.
best friend now. We'll have soft tacos later.
You guys, as you guys take in all these surroundings, you see Colonel O'Neill, who's kind of a few feet ahead of you. He's putting on some sunglasses. You can see that this is just kind of his step through the gate ritual that he's going through. He's putting on some sunglasses, sort of just like looking around, seeing what the situation is. But he seems to be interrupted. As a group of Jaffa come to greet you all, and they start unloading the Fred, start just not even looking at what's in the crates, just start unloading the crates and taking them in. So you're very thankful that an accidental crate didn't slip in there. And all the confusion of crates and Jaffa just kind of going away. You see a group of them just kind of just like taking Colonel O'Neill by the arm and just kind of like almost whisking him away into the crowd of celebration, as he's just like, guess I'm late for a ceremony or something. Hey, come to the big temple in the middle of the village. You can't miss it. And bring whatever supplies are left. And he's getting farther and farther away as he's just trying to shout like instructions before he gets out of earshot very quickly.
Sorry, what? I can't hear you. And he's gone.
Yeah, and he's gone.
Anyone
I
hear
would
that?
turn when VRN says that. I would turn to him. He was informing us that we need to take any supplies left to the large temple, which apparently we cannot miss. I would assume there must be some sort of marking on it, or perhaps it is the tallest building in the area.
Can I
Having
see it
not
from
been
where
to
we
this
are?
planet before, I
would like to look around for it.
Do I know this planet being Jaffa at all?
I mean, it's very clearly a Jaffa world, but you've never been here or really heard of it aside from the mission briefing.
Being to Tok'ra, would I recognize Keltec's symbol? Like, did you pick a god?
Make an let's see, history check probably.
I'd like to quickly
Culture,
announce...
maybe?
Culture?
Culture
Could I use
works.
culture?
Culture works.
I'd like to
Because
quickly
there
announce
isn't a history.
that I attempted to do a perception check, and I got a 0.
I am also attempting to do a perception check. And apparently, if I want to do anything, it's a bad choice. So that was a 6.
Okay.
Well,
I got a
you didn't get
19
2,
on my
but it's
culture.
2.
What symbol's on your head, Keltec?
Office.
Oh,
So now you know that.
okay.
Not super surprising, given the Atari's history with that particular system lord. So you guys are sort of there, and you guys rolled perception checks to find, was it to find the temple?
Yes, and I can't see shit.
Real quick, Elias, just because I can't remember exactly what happens in the season that we're supposedly in, but is Apophis still alive at this point, or is he dead?
You're not really sure if he's dead or alive, but the thing that everyone knows is that he has been off the radar for a while and is very much not threat. His status as a system lord basically been stripped at this point. He's not taken seriously by anyone. No, at this point in time, Anubis is the one everyone is worried about.
Okay, yeah. Cool.
And not much is known about him.
He's got a cool hood, though.
So,
He's one of my favorites.
with your perception checks of 6 and 0,
2 minus 2 is 0.
We
And
are
that's what
such
we call
representations of our race, Lex.
Is it that, or is it what people are learning that we roll like dog shit?
I think that someone might at least think an Turin has really bad situational awareness.
That's
Yaren just keeps
in
writing
general.
things down about jellicles.
Jellicle song.
I hate that I got that.
Naming of cats is a difficult matter. Huh.
Every so often goes, wait, you're
Not
speaking
one of
too
your
fast
holiday
to the
games.
cat.
With a 6 and a 0, you, the both of you can't, you don't see the temple anywhere. However, both Colonel O'Neill and the Jaffa who took all the crates did all seem to go into one direction in particular. They did leave, you're not sure if it was an oversight or what, one crate behind.
One Direction is here?
I did not say that, no.
I assume
Harry
I'm just
Styles,
too busy
who?
petting the cat to pay attention to where things are.
Sure.
I am asking a cat about the names of the jellicles. I
have a translator.
Oh my god, amazing. I take it, use it for a second, and then look and go, hey, wait. Because are you guys gone at this point?
No, you're
I'm
all
moving
still
to pick up the box.
You're all still there.
Okay.
That I've been ordered by the colonel to move.
I go look and be like, oh,
I
can you
may
help with
wait
that?
for
Hold on.
Keltec to help me, but
It is a small enough box where one person can carry it of average strength.
then yeah, I'm just gonna pick up the box.
I look and I'm like, oh, we going somewhere? Oh, okay.
Can I bring the cat?
You're best friends. I don't think the cat will let you leave alone.
I would like to just like pat my shoulder and have the cat jump up and be draped across my shoulders.
This is going, maybe I chose the wrong god.
It hesitates because it was very comfortable where it was, but it also bonded with you very quickly. So it takes a little time to sort of get up, stretch, lick its paw a few times, but then eventually kind of just readies itself and just leaps onto your shoulder.
Wonderful. As it's draped across, I will pet its head while I walk.
Excellent.
As we're all walking, I'm kind of just following the rest of the group, but I'm also looking up at like into the sky. What do we see? Like, are there other moons or planets or anything we can see? Like, what's going on up there? Any ships hanging out?
You see a gold mothership. No.
Any
God,
explosions?
back to the Stargate. Back to the Stargate.
Who is the GDO?
You don't see immediately any like moons. You're not sure if there just are none or like what you can see right now. It is a blue sky. It does have a single sun in the sky. yeah, I mean, there's some cloud cover, but it's mostly clear and a little hard to concentrate through all the banners and like town decorations that are blocking portions of your view.
Blue skies.
So you guys start heading that direction?
Exact same, Jody.
Irving Berlin.
I will take that as a yes.
Yes, I am heading in the direction while petting the cat.
As VRN seems to have gotten lost. Which is fitting because now we get into something that this system has called a traversal encounter. Because this party is considered rough terrain. So
scout.
Maybe. We'll see if that comes in handy. So traversals are interesting because they use a deck of cards. While preparing for this, I learned that I apparently do not own a deck of cards. So I quickly created cards I needed shortly before this.
If you need, like, I've got a deck if we need it.
Oh, I'm good. I'm ready to go.
Okay.
I am ready to.
Doesn't own a deck of cards.
Yeah.
I don't do card tricks very often or play solitaire with myself. That's not on a computer. I don't know what to tell you.
Yeah, I think the answer is someone who is just so into the digital realm for gaming, they forget about the tabletop.
I mean, I have
Also,
board games.
Roll 20. You
I
can
didn't
make
check
your own
actually
cards.
to see if any of those have cards.
Yeah,
I didn't want to learn how to do that.
Oh, okay.
My daughter just informed me that there's a deck of cards in this Airbnb. Come on.
Well, my apartment is not an Airbnb, John's daughter. So, this is not how I normally talk to children.
Let's just crush those dreams right now. We don't want this kid growing up with anything like self-esteem.
She's hyperventilating with laughter. She's good.
All right, so I've assembled a deck of 8 journey cards, and each one is going to represent a sort of challenge you have to overcome as you try to travel through this crowd and find the temple. We'll see how it goes. So I am going to draw the first one here. It's a 3 of diamonds. Ah, yes. Okay. So, as you all sort of go through, and one of you carrying a box, you're immediately hit with just a very, very dense swarm of people that is actually trying to watch a parade that's making it impossible to go in this direction any further. You're gonna try to see if you can just move past some of them without getting an accidental elbow to the face. I need all 4 of you to make acrobatics checks.
Yeah. Okay.
I got a 15.
Somehow the scout gets a 4.
I beat John with a 6.
If only there was a 4th person to save you. A 4, a 6, a 15. I'll go ahead and roll for him if he's not going to be here.
That means I must have rolled a 2 because... Wow.
The only dude that gets out of this without an elbow to the face is the dude carrying the box. Which would make me less mobile.
Uses the box as a battering ram to get through the crowd.
Box foo.
Box foo.
Did it roll twice?
Take the first number, 10.
Yeah, the sheet seems to be set up to do automatic advantage.
10.
So
All right. Well, 10 is
Do we take the 15 if it means we don't get hit in the face?
10 is barely enough of what you guys needed to succeed here, actually, given the rest of your rolls. So, you all very, very carefully choose your steps. You actually rely on Tarush, who's carrying this box, who's just naturally taking up more space. People seem to like give him more space just naturally, and you all tend to just kind of single file follow him. Keltec and Manel, you guys have a little trouble getting with the program. Your Keltec is a little too busy scouting behind to notice, pushing forward. But you are able to sort of snake your way through this crowd. All right. Your next obstacle. I need acrobatics checks again from everyone.
Well, that went really well last time. So.
As the crowd continues to not let up in density.
13.
Well, I got a 5.
Acrobatics?
Yeah.
Yes.
Dirty 20.
And Vanel, what was yours?
7.
Okay.
Hey!
You guys maintain this formation, and you guys, the deeper you into the crowd, the more it kind of starts to try and break it, but you do snake your way through. However, as you finally clear the crowd, I need everyone to make perception checks.
Oh, that's something I can actually do.
Because that's been going so well for me.
10.
13.
I did okay on that. Dirty 20.
I got a 19.
Wow. Okay. So, you guys notice that this is not a very straight path. Like the parade is kind of taking a snaking approach, and ahead of you, you see a few sunbreak brick buildings that were constructed very close to one another, but have some alleyways between them. And you notice that the parade is kind of doing a U-shape ahead of you, and you guys see that you could take a little shortcut here through an alley. And so you are able to save yourself some time there. Okay. As you emerge from this shortcut, you kind of find yourselves almost within the parade itself. And you see that there are dancers right in front of you, moving and singing along to the beat of the drums, and people are kind of moving out of the way of them as you kind of find yourself almost within the parade. I need everyone to make performance checks.
Great.
6.
5.
8.
24.
So we found what she's good at.
Was
I took the entertainer.
Was that a natural 20 or not?
No, I have a +6.
Okay. That was a fantastic roll. However, as a group, tragedy has struck. For you all attempt to join in and blend in with the dancers in the parade, but your attempts are so bad as a whole that the Jaffa don't move out of your way in particular, not buying that you're part of the act, and you're very embarrassed just overall about the entire situation.
I assume I did a good job, but because I'm with a group of people who did horribly, it's clear I'm with that group and I have secondhand embarrassment.
That's exactly what it is.
I'm guessing my attempts at mimicking like Jaffa culture didn't work because I'm from a completely different planet, and it just goes completely against what they were doing.
It was a dance you were not familiar with.
Like they were doing a mambo and you started doing
Completely.
like line dancing.
Like you tried to do some of the dances you're used to from where you're from, and it was not meshing at all.
That is a song.
Don't worry though, because instead of encountering dancers, not able to sort of push to that part of the crowd, you try to look for an alternate way through, and you come across a pair of panthers with their shiny black coats. They're being led on leashes as part of this parade, and it is causing some parade watchers to block your path. So as you kind of find yourselves up against these panthers, I need everyone to make animal handling checks.
Oh, good. Something else that
No. I refuse.
Vanelle's good at.
11.
22.
I got a 14.
Never mind, I don't
Wow.
refuse. I got a 19.
By the way, if anyone gets a natural 20, let me know. So you all, as you come across these panthers,
Wait, 1 second. I got a natural 20.
But you have a negative 1.
But I have a -1, so.
oh, okay, well, that's good to know. So as you sorry, as you come across these panthers and they kind of just like check you out for a second, you guys shift your demeanors to be pleasant towards animals. They see the one cat already on your shoulder, who they seem to be familiar with, and they
You're saying all cats know each other?
This is my cousin.
Benny, you know these fools. They
the cat on me black as well.
no, it's actually orange and with the speckled stripes.
Hey, my baby.
As
My
as
cat.
as you sort of try to ask their permission to pass, they seem to allow you to pass by them without incident, and you guys overcome that pretty well. I need you all to now make another animal handling check.
All right, now you're gonna get put in there.
I again got a 14.
10.
I rolled 19, so I got a
0.
24.
0?
0.
Lex, this is the second 0 you've gotten today.
So
I have a -2 in wisdom, and guess
Like,
what I
0
rolled? A natural
there isn't
2.
a 0 on this die.
Are you
Wait,
sure?
-1.
I have a -2 in wisdom, and when I keep rolling a fucking 2,
so these
I don't know what to tell you, my guy.
you make it past these panthers, be like, okay, we're past the wild, and you immediately see 2 other panthers that
Have a great time.
that seem to take cues from the previous ones and also allow you to pass. One of them lingers on VR just a little bit, unsure, but nothing happens.
As
Good.
someone that used to march in parades, this is a very poorly organized parade.
Well, not really. We might have just multiple panthers in a row right now. We might be in the panther section.
It's almost as if the structure of this parade was dictated by RNG of shuffling cards.
Wild.
Where's the marching band? I know how that works.
Yeah, there should be multiple marching bands.
I need everyone to make perception checks.
To find the marching
God
band?
damn it! Why?
Yes, please. Okay, I did okay. I got a 16.
I got
11.
a 19.
How did
I'm
I
still
put
mad I
7
forgot
in
my real
wisdom?
dice.
God.
Rolled a 4.
11.
For some reason, Caltech, you're so focused on using your scouting abilities to just check the rear that you're not able to pay too much attention
Just
for
keep
whatever
scouting
reason.
them
Like,
rears.
you're looking up into the sky. You're looking at this different Jaffa culture than you're used to. The rest of you, however, do notice another shortcut in front of you, which saves you time, and you guys are able to take.
Hi, Panthers.
So for clarity, I'm not. I'm now separated from them.
No, you're with them. You just weren't the one who noticed it.
I ran into the wall or something.
You feel it's a blow to your ego as a scout a little bit.
When the engineer is scouting more than the scout is, we have a problem.
If I'm scouting the rear, can I see if anyone's following us?
Sure. You make a quick separate perception check.
Okay.
Preferably with 2 digits.
A 10.
Those are 2 digits.
What is the
10?
The minimum to qualify for that statement.
Because of how focused you've been on the rear, you're pretty confident. Like there's no one in the crowd who's following you. Most people seem to be enjoying the parade or trying to.
Just been booty blinded.
As you do look around, though, you do see that as you emerge from this shortcut, the temple is now clearly in view and directly ahead of you. Now I need everyone to make acrobatics checks.
Climbing those steps is hard.
Holy shit!
Let's see how much worse mine. Oh, I did well. 19.
I am
Wait,
going
do I
to
have -2?
blame Keltec for this because
19.
I got a nat 1.
I got a
which turned
nat
into
1,
a 3.
which
What?
turned into a 3.
Both of you got
damn.
natural ones.
Yeah.
Damn. I rolled a 6.
I got a
Natural
19.
4 plus 2.
Just straight 19.
All right.
So this box is
What's in
gone.
that box?
Thankfully, like food.
I don't
rations.
fucking believe you.
But
Not the stuff that killed Daniel Jackson.
so you guys,
Which
you guys see the temple right ahead of you, and you're like, yes, we finally hear home free. But there's a massive crowd blocking you. That's kind of like facing opposite you because you're most of the parade is behind you at this point. This one in particular is very difficult to navigate. And in fact, you're not really able to squeeze through this mass of people completely to get to the temple. You kind of have to veer off to the side to get past them. In particular for Tarush and Keltec, you have such a rough time dealing with this crowd that the two of you actually take elbows to the face. And Tarush, you take 3 bludgeoning damage. And Keltec, you take 2 bludgeoning damage. So
After the elbow to the face, whoever did it,
oh my god!
I turn to them and loudly say, "Mikta, watch what you're doing."
They look at you with like disdain, realize like what that feeling on their elbow was earlier, kind of go from a neutral to like an almost sorry, but then they just kind of try to go apathetic and try to focus on the celebration parade again. Everyone please make acrobatics checks again.
That's
I'm going to be
not-
killed by a crowd.
Okay.
I'm going to use a different roller. This is some
Okay.
bullshit.
I'm using my reroll
15?
token.
Ooh, can I do that too?
If you want to.
I'd like to point out that my dice jail currently has 4 d20s in it.
No.
All right. I got a nat 20 for a 22.
Okay.
John, I think you need to switch, like, to
Yeah.
D&D Beyond or something. This is ridiculous.
Yeah.
And if you
That
need
would
to
be a
switch to a
stick.
different reality.
There's no reality that will save me from my shit rolls, Jody, and you know it.
So what did Ilea and Lex, you guys roll?
13.
15.
Okay. So there's you navigate away from the elbowing part of the crowd to a just as dense part of the crowd, but nobody elbows you. You're able to navigate. Tarush, you start to navigate like you tried to before. Remember, you took an elbow. You go back to your box strats. your crate strats that you used earlier in the crowd, and you guys are finally able to clear this crowd, this parade, with only minimal bludgeoning damage to the face.
Minimum.
As you're finally free and find yourselves in the front of this temple. It's very Egyptian looking, inspired. There are very long steps that lead to what looks to be the only entrance in front. And at this entrance at the front is a singular, unpleasant looking Jaffa. And it takes you a second, but you actually recognize this Jaffa as one of the guards that was part of the delegation in the gate room. Whenever you saw the delegation there, and she's very much at the steps, standing like directly in front of the door instead of to the side, sort of guarding it. And as you all approach, she's like, "You are late. The ceremony has begun, and outsiders are no longer permitted entry. I, Renasha, have spoken."
Oh, well. Sorry, we were kind of we ran into a parade. Made things kind of tricky to get in.
We are here at the request of Colonel Jack O'Neill.
I am so sorry that we're late, but we were asked to bring these supplies here. If you could just let us in so that we can do our job, it will help make the ceremony all the better.
She kind of looks over at the box when you say
Kind
supplies.
of lift up the box.
What supplies?
Show the box and the label. These supplies.
She kind of looks at the label. Doesn't seem to really grasp what is printed on the label. What is inside?
Is this a box that I can? Is this a box I can open, or is it like nailed shut wooden box type thing?
It has a closing mechanism. It's kind of like, a standard military issue crate. So you could probably open it pretty easily.
So yeah, I'll
It's not
just
locked.
put it down, pop it open, show what's inside. I'm assuming it's food.
And it is, yeah. It's an assortment of packaged,
Open it up, and
packaged
it's a
meats,
Naquita bomb.
fruits,
A what?
and everyone explodes.
The
A
end.
nuke, basically.
Oh.
Think of a nuke, but bigger.
Everyone dies. The end.
I'm gonna have you roll. We'll say at advantage, Vanel, because Tarush is opening the box and backing you up here. A persuasion check.
Okay.
Come on, diplomat.
25.
So she's kind of standing there, and you can sort of see as she talks, like she seems very resolute in her stance about, like, you guys took too long. No more outsiders. This is the way, basically. And boy, it really is mixing franchises here. And
star in the name,
right?
Give me
if I can just get a command bridge here.
Hey, have some money. Go see Star War.
You see her just like soften her demeanor a little bit, not to where she's going to let you pass or anything, but she does seem to start to consider the fact that evidently they did not grab all the supplies at once, and one was left behind. And it's like, It is very unfortunate that some of the supplies were left behind. However, I cannot let you in, as the ceremony has already begun. I, Renasha, have spoken. Make an insight check for now.
Insight I get to do with charisma, so I got a 19.
Even though she's more or less repeating what she said earlier, it is less resolute, and she does seem to be considering things more openly.
I appreciate your dedication to the ritual and practices. They are incredibly important, and we do not wish to interrupt. We just wish to do our job, bring in the supplies that were not brought in, and we will be discreet. We will not interrupt.
Okay. Roll another persuasion check. No advantage.
How do you feel about a 22?
I have a lot of feelings about the 22. You sort of see her just like almost kind of impatiently, like you can tell that she's missing some of the ceremony herself, potentially because of having to deal with this. And you catch her kind of like looking glances into the closed door, but seemingly knowing what's going on inside, and maybe detecting a hint of sort of either impatience or jealousy. You're not sure about her being out here. And she kind of looks at all of you. I'm just going to have the rest of the three of you roll basic charisma checks.
Oh, good.
Natural 20.
I got this is a 17.
Oops, I used this thing again, but I got a 12.
So she looks over the group of you as Vanel says this, and sees that you're all just kind of all kind of in silent agreement. It's just like, yeah, we're just here to put this down, put it with everything else. We'll be discreet. We'll do everything. And you sort of see her begrudgingly change her mind, very, very slowly through her like facial expressions, and her arms begin to uncross. Very well. Stick to the outside. Be discreet, as you said. And she takes this handle and very slowly opens the door, and it creaks a little bit. Like the door's not being super discreet. It's probably fine though, because you hear a lot of just like general noise and like celebratory, like talking, conversation from inside. You don't think you need to be as discreet as you promised to be, but she seems to be hesitantly allowing you in.
And despite knowing that we probably don't have to be that quiet, I go, thank you, we will.
Do you guys walk in?
Yep.
Yep.
Okay. So she lets you in, and she kind of lets herself in after you guys, and seems to lock the door behind her. And she goes off to a far off table with some other Jaffa. So inside the temple is a courtyard. There are rows of tables where Jaffa are seated, and you do see finally again Colonel O'Neill, who is seated at very front and center, a place of honor in the elevated central table. And next to him is Devak, the leader of the delegation you saw from the gate room with the sash and everything. She's standing in the courtyard next to an ornate water fountain. And the water fountain is sculpted with cat humanoid species in their statues. This is interesting, sort of. It's not quite one-to-one with some of the Egyptian hieroglyphics that some of you might be familiar with. It's very unique. None of you have ever seen sculptures like this before. Devak seems to be in mid-speech as you all enter in this scene. as she continues, there is much to do since the freeing of our world from the false god Bastet. I hope that some of you join our new allies so that we may all become as close as the Jaffa of Clem already are, brothers and sisters. And every Jaffa there raises their drinks in the air with a cheer.
Applause.
Devat continues.
Someone got that.
Devat continues saying, Colonel O'Neill, please accept this gift as a token of your new friendship. And O'Neill, who looks like he is suffering, is kind of just at the time, like listening to the speech. And finally, when he hears a gift, he kind of perks up a little bit. For the first time you gather in a while. What? No, you shouldn't have. Really? And a Jaffa comes out from the side and brings this very small ornate box and sets it in front of O'Neill. O'Neill is kind of looking forward to it, rubs his hands together, and opens it up. And the kind of structure of the box, the walls aren't very high. It's kind of a domed cap, so when you open it, everyone can sort of see what's inside of it. And to everyone's surprise, the gift is a Jaffa shock grenade. A split second before the grenade detonates, Renasha and other Jaffa at her table duck underneath and cover their eyes and ears. Colonel O'Neill, who has this flash grenade right in front of him, manages to get out. Oh, dang. And then the entire temple is filled with blinding light and sound as this grenade basically goes off in his face. This flash grenade goes off in his face. While the majority of Jaffa, including Devak, are affected, as soon as the effects of the grenade initially fade, Renasha and her loyalists stand up from hiding behind the table as Renasha calls out, "Bastet is still your god! Dispatch the Tari allies. I will deal with O'Neill." And then as she moves towards the colonel and razor-sharp claws extend from her gauntlets, I would like you all to roll initiative.
I'll do that in the system. 14.
I got us. This is 16. And just because the sheets in Roll20 don't always do it correctly, if I read it correctly, initiative can be either your wisdom or your dex, whichever is higher in this one. So if you happen to have a higher wisdom than your dex score, use that instead.
It's not.
Oh.
6.
It is for me, in which case add 5 to whatever I just said. 19.
19. Okay. Let me...
You get mine, or...
I'm sorry, I will ask.
Okay.
1 second as
I had a feeling.
I got a feeling that tonight's gonna blow up in our face.
All right. So I have a battle map up for you all to reference. The two different Aturans, you can figure out which one you are by figuring out which one you can control.
I can't control either.
Yeah, if we don't drag the picture over, we can't actually control them. I dragged my own picture, so if you want to just get rid of the one that you put.
Okay. Well, then feel free to drag your own character onto the board at that table.
I'm standing
Sorry.
on the table.
I cannot control mine either.
You have to, if you go to the character sheet and you click and hold on your name and then drag it over, it should give you a token.
I don't want to go first.
Well, then you should have rolled low.
I rolled lower than other people until Jody told me that my wisdom should be attached to it.
I rolled a 6.
Which token, Jody? Should I or
So-
where?
If you go in Roll20, if you see where chat is, you'll see a bunch of symbols above it. If you go over to the journal tab, which should be the third icon over, there should be a thing that says characters. You should see your character. Just click and hold on the name and then drag it onto the map, and your token should appear.
Got it. Thanks.
That's what I'm here for.
Okay. All right. Vanel, what was your initiative?
6.
You're not Vanille.
Oh.
Other V character.
19.
19. Okay, now other V character. It was 6. Okay.
The other Aturan.
Tarush,
This is 16.
16. And Caltech.
Non-natural 20.
All right.
So you see that first.
So this flash grenade has gone off. As you start to come to, you can see that it's really just Renasha and 2 other Jaffa who seem to be behind this. Everyone else is sort of running around, scattering, dispersing in the chaos. There's just a lot of, fear-based chaos as to what's happening. Colonel O'Neill is kind of prone on the ground. He's taken out his sidearm at this point and is kind of looking for any threats. You can sort of see that he knows there's going to be a follow-up after something like that, but he's still very, very disoriented. So Keltec, you see Renasha starting to book it for O'Neill while the other 2 Jaffa are looking at your direction. But you finally, being validated in your scoutingness, have the first initiative. So what are you doing?
What is our move? What's our range here? Need to look. I forget how to use Roll20.
Each square is, I'm assuming each square is a meter.
Each square is 5 feet. Yeah.
Our speed is in meters, so
Each square is a meter.
What's my speed?
I would assume 6 meters.
yeah, we should all have 6 meters for speed.
Okay.
So 30 feet is the equivalent.
Yeah.
Yeah, I want to move, like, quickly run to try to sort of intercept up towards O'Neill.
Okay.
Which would be, if I can move my gosh.
Change from the ruler to the pointer to move.
Yeah, I'm attempting to do so. There we go, which I believe is here. Was it here?
Yeah, okay.
Let me make sure that that's right. Roll20, you are so bad. Yeah, okay. Yeah, that's 30.
Yeah.
Or that's right. So I just want to run up there. I need to look at what gear that I have. In the base kit.
There's a knife.
Yeah, I guess at that point I would pull out my combat knife. Oh wait, no. I would pull out the sidearm Beretta M9. If I was at home, I'd pull my real one out. But anyway.
Maybe don't, even if you were.
Yeah, maybe Have you decided? No.
Yeah. And which one of the three?
So,
And also, what's the range on that?
this
Beretta's
one,
50 feet for short range.
Okay.
this one at the top is Renasha. She seems to have positioned herself to where she could very quickly get to Colonel O'Neill. And then the two at the bottom are the other Jaffa who seem to be focused on you instead.
How tall is this like fountain thing? Could I possibly take cover behind it, or?
It's tall enough to where you could have some cover from the other two Jaffa, but you have a pretty clean line of sight uncovered from Renasha.
Okay. Well, then I'm going to attempt to fire at that traitorous, false god worshipping Jaffa.
Okay. Attempt to fire.
I will roll on this thing. So, what do I add? Let me get my sheet back open. Sorry. It is Beretta is. What do I add to the roll?
Dex plus proficiency.
So +2. I guess I could just roll it on here. I don't want to deal with all that. Please don't screw me, roll 20. Lord. Does an 11 hit?
It does not.
Okay, then.
You see her
that's
look, and she notices you. This other formerly Apophis Jaffa sort of run up and take out a sidearm, which caught her a little off guard, but is easier for her to sort of deflect. And she has these sort of claw gauntlets that seem to be obviously made of naquita, whereas your bullets are not. And she kind of like is able to deflect it.
You know my M9 isn't packing naquita bullets.
Because it's a base kit.
Standard issue military in 2002. Yes.
Anything else on your turn?
The only thing I would do is shout very loudly. Where did this word go? Hang on.
You've been looking up Jaffa phrases this entire time.
I have a Jaffa dictionary.
Here, I just thought your memory of the show was just a lot better than mine.
No.
What is a television show? I mean, really.
Oh yes. I shout mostly to like the rest of the group that I was with. Kri Chatai, don't fear. And then I just kind of like chill behind the fountain. Like
you all take that in.
Are you telling us to not fear?
Tarusha actually would probably
yes.
know what that means.
We have
a translation device.
Okay, everyone but VA.
Try it again.
Everyone but Lex's character understands what it means.
Coward.
We accidentally trolled Elias with our character.
I'm happy about this.
Vanel, it is your turn.
Done it to Jody
Accidentally?
before.
Hey, Vanilla.
What would you like to do?
So, most Aturan are pacifists by nature.
Oh.
Yeah.
Wait, what?
Most,
Yeah.
not all.
Did I miss that?
As a society, they are, but the ones who tend to join up with the SGC and the Phoenix site tend to bend that way.
Aturan recruits. Most Aturans subscribe to a philosophy of nonviolence.
You want to go wake up
should
Colonel
I have
O'Neill?
So should I have taken? Because in the book there's the Aturan and then there's the Noxian pacifist traits, and I assumed I could pick one of the two, so I just picked Aturan because pacifist didn't make sense as a soldier.
This
Did I screw up?
no, if that didn't make sense as a soldier, then do you, man.
No, it
Well, I'm
says
not a pacifist.
most. That does not mean you have to be a pacifist, but I chose to be an Turin diplomat. So
Then that's your fault, not mine.
So Vanel, what are you doing on your turn?
whoa. Let's calm down. I'm sure we can talk this out. And I want to persuade them to not attack us. And I'm going to just keep petting the cat to emphasize that, like, I love the cat god too. It's fine.
That
We
cat
can all get along.
scurried off as soon as the shot grenade went off.
How dare you?
Now there will be blood.
Pacifism out the window.
I don't have a cat.
Scared the
All right.
cat?
All right, time to die.
You monster.
I still want to try and persuade them to stop fighting and talk it out.
Sure, roll a persuasion check at disadvantage.
Cool. It'll be fine.
Maybe you should have gone first before I decided to shoot
I
him.
know. And I was
And
like, well,
miss?
this is going to make this harder.
Maybe we should all.
Maybe we should sing Kumbaya.
Well, much like 20, I rolled the exact same number. So my total is 13.
Okay. I will make note of that. Are you doing anything else?
I'm going to check to see if anyone is injured and try and help.
Okay. There's a lot of staggering, but it was very much like a sensory deprivation type grenade, not a blow people up grenade. So you do not immediately see any injured people.
So as
aside from
the
maybe like
people-
Colonel O'Neill, who's like very staggered from it because he took it to the face, but
Cool. I'm
sure.
also looking for the cat.
Okay. We'll have you roll investigation your next turn. Tarush.
You said the fountain's high enough to give us a little cover, right?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm going to move up to the fountain. I take out my P90 and I'm going to burst fire at the one with the claw gauntlets is going after O'Neill.
Renasha. Okay.
Yeah. My understanding of burst fire is if I hit, it does additional damage based on the tension die.
Okay.
So I don't know what the tension die is, though.
I will tell you
Cool. Well, I'm going to roll first then.
because I'm now remembering that feature. That's a D6.
It's all happening at the same time, right?
Roughly.
So I imagine I'm just like going around the room to see if I can help people while being like, stop fighting!
Keltec gets a shot off before you finish speaking, and then as soon as you finish speaking, Tarush goes up and then just starts laying it.
Full auto P90 FN57 rounds just like bouncing off of armor. Please
Teflon
calm
coated.
down.
I got a 12, which is obviously because 11 didn't hit, but 12 definitely will.
12 actually, no, it doesn't hit. Sorry.
Oof.
There's a lot of, just as described, a lot of ricocheting off the armor. Doesn't seem to do too much.
P90 round is not everything FN said it would be.
Hey, we have Naquita in play. It's different rules.
It's a really I've got an airsoft version of the P90. It's a really solid sidearm.
Airsoft P90.
I do. I wanted to be an airsoft SG unit.
Oh man. Okay, so yeah, like she's like mid about to sprint. So she, like there's a lot of motion, and she just deflected the one shot from Keltec. So you're not able to like, even with your sort of spray and pray here, like get anything in all the movement and the chaos as you begin to open fire. Anything else with your turn?
No, I think I'm good.
All right. 13, huh? All right. So, the two
Also, for
Jaffa.
anyone wondering, ammo is a thing in this too.
The Jaffa who's back here, behind the table, seems to be hesitating, holding their action, a little bit. The one up here, though, has been seeing like 2 out of 3 of you just lay into their leader, and so she's going to come over here and try to take out the one with the bigger gun. So as she activates her staff, that will be, oh no, an 8 to hit.
I'm good.
Can I use my reaction to use one of my tactics and make a response shot?
If that is something you can do, then yes.
I'm going to do it. I'm going to use my FNP 90 long arm to make a ranged response shot as a reaction. Shit.
Which one are you?
I think he's the upside down one.
Upside down. But
Okay.
it won't matter because I rolled a 12.
12. Well, thank goodness it's not a natural 1 because your line of sight's a little iffy there.
Good.
You try to make a response shot as you see them get close, but the response is not quite responsey enough.
Damn it.
And those are going to be the Jaffa. Renash, on the other hand.
However, that column will never hurt anyone ever again.
Yeah, one of the cat statues is kind of just like got a few bullet holes in it, and you think with enough like pushing, like half of it would just fall over. Renasha is unconcerned with the supporting characters and is gonna try to end the series early. She gets really close as she goes up to O'Neill. And O'Neill, sort of in response, he's got his sidearm out and he's kind of shooting, like he's still having trouble aiming and seeing, but he knows where the threat is and hears. So he's defending himself, fending her off a little bit, and she's having to dodge a little bit. So it's so far.
Sure, it makes me feel better to know that Colonel O'Neill is blind firing.
Yeah. Yep. That's a stalemate at the moment. And then Viaran, it's now your turn for real.
I'm gonna move to here so I can get a clean line of shot on this person. That.
Okay.
I'm gonna do a pew pew at their face. And I'm gonna use the laser sight. And in that, if I do, I moved. Shit, never mind. I retract that statement.
Which one, the laser sight or the movement?
You know what? I'll retract the movement. Fuck
okay.
I'm good at reading. Remember, kids, stay in school. Reading is fundamental. So this will get me advantage on this attack.
Okay.
Okay, I'm glad I had advantage. 21.
It's still not. No, that hits. Go ahead and roll damage.
All right. Now this is. Oh right. I guess this is 2d6 plus Dex because proficient. Am I correct in assuming that because this is 5e rolls?
Yeah.
Ooh. That is 10 points of piercing damage.
Okay. So, your damage to the statue, notwithstanding, a little unimpressed that you missed, and so you finally just center yourself, take your time, pull out the laser, and then just lay out a few shots, and that you do manage to get some of the gaps in the armor, and do a fair amount of damage. You said that was 10 total?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
10 points of piercing.
Cool. And you get their attention.
Good.
Okay, Caltech, we're back up to you.
I am struggling to find the details for the Mossberg 500.
I can tell you.
That would be excellent.
Where's my Atari armor?
While we wait for
Mossberg.
things.
Underbarrel flashlight, reinforced stock can be used as a bludgeon.
Oh, it's listed under shotgun. I got it.
Yeah, it's just a shotgun. So
Yeah. Okay.
He's
So
over
it's
here looking
D10.
for specific.
Yeah, 1d10 plus a dex piercing
Plus dex.
damage.
Okay.
Because
And
it's a
then-
ranged attack.
it's got a 10-meter short range.
You're-
So 2
What's
squares.
the 30 meter? What is that?
You
That's
take it
long
at
range.
disadvantage.
Okay. So I'm gonna. Oh.
Yeah,
Thank
long range is you have to take it at disadvantage in order to make
Yep.
the roll.
Got it. Okay. Let's see. Can I make?
I know
Yes.
this is because I play 5e too much.
A long range shotgun? What do you mean?
I am going to move. Essentially, like I'm gonna run up the. What are these stairs?
Yeah, just like it sort of steps up to an elevated table.
Yep. And then stop right here. And while running, holsters the sidearm and pulls. I would assume it's like slinged to my back or something. Pulls out the
Where normal
Mossberg.
Jaffa keep a staff, you keep.
A Mossberg 500. Yes. Yeah. If anybody,
You wouldn't part an old man and
I'm
his
still
watch.
waiting for somebody to make a comment about my character's name. But anyway,
You mean
so. And then I am going to go ahead and do. So it's
you
one.
mean Caltech, the school?
Nope.
No. No.
Oh, or Cal. Oh,
I'm with Lex on the first one.
thank you. Or is it like Celtic, like the Irish?
The academic types over here are really showing their colors here.
Look, I have a fake diploma.
It's D10 plus Dex. Is that what it was?
Yeah,
I have the little envelope.
for
Can I look at my
damage.
diploma until
Did
I
you
find
roll
it?
to hit?
It's getting
Oh,
mailed.
no, I'm not. What do I roll to
Well, it's
hit?
not until August anyway. I have to
D20
do my-
D20.
plus
Plus
Dex
what?
plus proficiency.
Oh yeah. Sorry, I'm trying. I don't want to use friggin' roll 20 because it's not nice.
We accept this.
Okay, I rolled an 18.
18
plus-
hits.
Okay, so regardless of my pluses. All right, so then I'll roll damage. I don't like this app either, but whatever.
That's why I always have a set of dice next to my
I
computer.
literally set mine aside and then I forgot them. They were sitting on my desk at home.
I'm very happy that I have an actual excuse to use these very nice looking Stargate dice.
They're awesome.
The D4 of which is an actual caltrip.
That would be 10, and also for damage.
10
and
piercing.
I think,
Yeah. Okay.
yeah, 10 piercing, and I thought there was something about it being. Let's see, reduce range. No, it doesn't say anything about that. Yeah, that's it.
All right. So you run up and take your shotgun, whose name I forget, from your back. And you position yourself to where the colonel is not in danger from your shot, and you go up and be like, try to deflect this, basically, and shotgun from two meters away. And Renasha has to kind of stop her pursuing O'Neill for a minute and kind of just like go into a defensive stance. She obviously can't deflect all of it with her armor, and you do take a chunk of damage out of her. She seems at the moment torn of completing her mission and dealing with you. We'll see how that plays out later. So for now, Vanel, your message of peace seems to mostly have been ignored here, which you were half expecting.
Yes. Is there any way that I can help Jack recover his senses a bit faster?
Do you have any healing actions you can take?
I have no idea.
Given that there's a class called the healer or the medic,
I'm going to assume no.
Imagine that the best you could do would try to talk to him.
You're doing good job, Colonel.
Yeah, Colonel, you've got this, but pull yourself together.
That's your action?
Sure. I also still want to look for the cat.
Oh yeah, make your investigation check.
So 17.
17. Yeah, you see the cat. Hiding under this table.
To let me have an animal in the game.
You see the cat hiding under this table over here.
Okay.
And as you shout that to Colonel O'Neill, he is about to respond with, "What do you think I'm trying to?" And he's immediately drowned out by the sound of a nearby shotgun blast. And that's your turn?
Great.
No, I'm asking, is that your turn?
I mean, I would like to move near the cat, but I assume on my next turn is when I'll have the opportunity to comfort the cat.
Yeah, you can move, so but you can't comfort
towards the cat.
Yeah, you have to save your comfort action for next round.
Yeah.
All right, Tarush, you're up.
Question for you, oh mighty Gate Master. With the reflex sight, it says if I don't move and I take a single shot, I get advantage. Can I use burst fire and still get the advantage, or can it only be a single shot?
Does burst fire normally give you?
Burst fire, effectively, it doesn't let me do multiple attacks. It just means I add a tension die to the damage if I hit.
I don't see why not, if there's nothing, yeah.
So, I think because I have a target close to me and there's already a dude with a shotgun taking care of her, I'm going to turn and just unload on this dude within 10 feet of me.
Okay, yeah.
So let's see if I can actually do it. Well, that's a 4. Good thing there's advantage. 11.
Beautiful.
Maybe should have kept that reroll.
Unfortunate.
You turn. The Jaffa has already started moving towards one of the Aturans, and you miss completely.
I'm gonna look for something to fix.
You realize you're next to a statue that has a considerable amount of bullet holes in it.
Maybe I can fix the statue. It's a machine, right?
Anything else on your turn?
Kind of a machine. Yeah, I'd like to feel shame as a standard action.
Okay, all right.
A shame? Oh, that's a free action for me, baby.
Take 1 point of shame damage, which amounts to 0 actual damage. Okay.
Can I use my determination to do something? Like, I know determination points are a thing in this game, and I can't remember what you do with them.
Well, once you remember, let me know. The Jaffa. Okay. The one is still by the table. You don't know what they're up to. The one, though, is...
Just getting out a Lunchable, trying to build that pizza.
Yeah, they're crafting a charcuterie board out of all the food on the table.
Great.
This one is going to... It's going to go ahead and move around within melee here. Get closer to the group as a whole, but still kind of pivot around you. And they are going to do a Matok melee attack. What is Matok? I have forgotten and do not remember. So that will be a natural 20.
Oh wait, no, the Matak is the staff. So he's smacking you with
Oh yeah, smack, yeah. You know, hit you over the head with an Aquila staff, and it hurts a lot. It's going to be...
I'm actually immune to sticks in general.
Stick
like
immunity?
All sticks.
Yeah.
Being
Well,
a
in
Tok'ra, like...
that case, you only take 10 bludgeoning damage from it, from that critical hit.
Holy shit. Well, I have 6 hit points.
Tight. You begin to think that maybe the thing you can fix is your head. And that is going to be their turn. Renasha is conflicted, but is still attacking Colonel O'Neill, and Colonel O'Neill is responding. Caltech, you notice that Colonel O'Neill, like, he's semi-blindly firing his sidearm in response to any sort of act of aggression this Jaffa is getting. And even though his senses are impaired, like, he's doing a decent job of still aiming towards this and very much away from you. You get the sense that this is, you know, coming from a lot of experience doing this exact thing. And that's going to resolve that. VRN, your turn. VRN? You're muted.
What?
Okay, now I hear you.
The hell? I'm gonna shoot him.
Beauty shoot
Don't-
bang bang.
Shoot who?
Me.
The one that's hurting my friend. And
Okay.
once again, I'm going to do laser sight so I can get advantage.
Okay.
17 to hit.
17 hits, yeah.
Ooh, okay. Not as good as before. That would be 6 points of piercing damage.
Okay. They look very bloody. Which, of course, is not shown on network television.
Bloodied?
Yeah, that's not a status
what
or
you-
anything, but that's how they look.
Okay, so they are at least... I don't want a metagame. I'm just going off of mechanics.
Okay. Anything else on your turn?
No, unfortunately, because that's my action.
Okay.
I don't think I have any bonus actions, and I can only do my response shot once an encounter.
Oh, okay. All right. In that case,
Yeah, that's it.
Keltec.
I am going to
Shotgun to the
sidestep
face.
by like one, kind of like over this table, just to be less in Colonel O'Neill's range and possibly way. Just like a cautionary, like take
Yeah, just a
take
slight
a 3
reposition.
Just
foot
avoid
step
the
back.
blind fire a little bit.
And I am going to. Is the Mossberg? I'm not familiar with this gun. Is it a pump shotgun? Anyway, I'm going to. Yes, it is. Boom again.
Okay.
So roll that. It's what is it? It's plus my for attack. It's plus my dex. What is it? No.
I want to say dex plus proficiency, right?
Yeah, dex plus proficiency.
That would be a 16.
16 does hit.
Ooh, goody. Okay. Rolling for damage. That's a 4 plus 2, 6.
6 damage. All right. So you again, slightly better positioning. You don't damage her enough, but she now looks overall damaged enough to where she's starting to realize she needs to take care of the people who are actually damaging her instead of this very incapacitated colonel who she can get to after. So her focus is now pretty shifted towards you.
Do I have anything else I can do besides that one thing?
You can move more. If you have any bonus actions, you can use those.
I don't know what consists of a bonus action. I just want to turn the flashlight on my gun on just to like shine it in her face and try to blind her.
Yeah, you probably can't do that in the same turn as
Got it.
You still
Aiming
get
and
a
firing
free
mission.
object interaction.
Literally clicking the light on.
then you can do it.
Sorry.
I don't know if it's actually going to have any effect. I'm just going to do it.
I will let you know.
If you had a laser sight, you could just put that on the wall, and then she'd have to go attack that instead of you.
Oh shit! Why didn't I think of that?
Ultimate strat.
Vanilla, it is now your turn.
I'm an idiot.
Yeah. Y'all could have been doing that, and then it could have been a diplomatic thing.
I'm not smart, Ilea.
You are getting a master's.
That
Ernie
doesn't
the
mean
Jeff.
jack shit.
I know, but I'm going to bring it up continuously.
How dare you?
So they all look really hurt, right?
The two that have been engaging with you, yes.
Okay. No one's been engaging with me.
As a group.
Yeah.
The
so
cat
I'm going-
was engaging with you, and then they
I'm
got scared.
working on the cat. So as I'm heading towards the cat, I'm going to go, no, stop the violence. And then I'm going to just focus on like soothing the cat.
I'm not even. That was such a half-hearted. No, stop.
No, stop.
No,
No.
police, murder.
That was purposefully that way.
It's giving Gene Wilder and Charlie and Willy Wonka in the Chocolate Factory, and I love that for you.
Roll an animal handling check.
Great. That's not the app. That's TikTok. Okay. It's fine. I didn't almost open TikTok instead. Hey, so animal handling is +5. So, we got 18.
Okay. You see the cat is kind of all the loud noises that are happening and still happening kind of made it you spook it a little bit under the table. It eventually calms down as soon as you approach and try to soothe it. It seems to be used to loud noises of some kind and only has a limited understanding of what is occurring. And your presence there has made it back to normal. It starts to leap back on your shoulder again.
Great.
Well,
I
we
assume
win, right?
the cat on me also means that if for some reason all of the other people end up dying, the cat people will be like, well, she's got a cat, so we're not attacking her.
Sure. Is that your turn?
Yeah.
Tarush, you hurt.
So, another question for you. I have as being an engineer, I have this thing called sidearm calibration, which is basically during a long rest, I can improve a sidearm. Can we assume that the sidearm that I would take with me as part of my base kit would have already been improved, despite the fact that we haven't had a long rest? Because I would just automatically.
And I'll have a follow-up question depending on your answer to that.
I'm going to say no because the one that you
Okay.
grabbed was a generic one from the armory. You did not have
Gotcha.
one that was assigned to you yet.
Makes sense. Then I am going to because I have the P90 on a sling, so I'm going to drop it, pull out my Beretta because I don't get disadvantage with the Beretta, and I'm going to try and shoot this guy, preferably in the face, but I will go for anything that actually gets me a hit. Can I just dive into the fountain and just stay there?
Before Jody talks about
What did
that,
you roll?
no,
I got a
no.
5 plus
Hold on, no,
4.
shush, 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 shush,
Okay.
shush. Elias. So Jody grabbed a regular kit, but so have we known each other for a while? Like, would we have had a long rest together?
Together? That's up to you.
Not with certain connotations, but like, have we all slept in the same area after getting to know each other the previous day or something?
You all
Before
know
today?
enough about each other to work together. Your friendship is in progress.
Great, because I apparently during a long rest can grant team members 1d6 temporary HP with an action for inspiring.
Uh-huh.
And so I want to know if I did that.
You would have had no way of knowing you would be in this situation when you were last long rested.
Okay, shoot. Okay, keep going, Jody. Jump into the fountain.
I appreciate all of your attempts at retroactively buffing your characters, though.
Well, that is the only benefit of being an engineer.
In a campaign, it would matter quite a bit. However, this is not that. So you can jump into the fountain if you want. That would provoke an
opportunity attack. So
yeah.
I'm just gonna stay there and like after sitting there at point blank range, just going blam. Just gonna. That scare you? It scared me.
They do not seem to be paying attention to you.
In my head, Mikresh is going dipshit.
But in a echoey voice.
Dipshit.
Maybe let the Gould take over.
Pretty soon here, Mikresh is gonna take over and just go to town on these.
He's gonna turn his Tok'ra into a ghoul through all these actions. What's gonna happen? Okay. So then we get to the Jaffa, who is no longer considering you to be a threat. And has recharged his staff weapon and is going to try to hit the one who has been hitting him, your boy Viarin. Ooh.
Uh-oh.
It's a 19 to hit?
Barely.
Barely. Uh-huh. As they aim their staff weapon at you, and just very quickly, like you've seen and heard and trained with this, but being in the field, seeing how quickly this plasma aims and fires at you, catches you off guard, and you're able to dodge most of it. It doesn't hit you point blank and kills you, but you do it does graze you because of how quickly it gets, and you take 10 fire damage as a result.
Holy shit!
Yeah, please don't mess around. Renasha is now changing targets and will use her claw gauntlets to try to strike you down and get rid of this silly little shotgun you've been firing at her. So she's going to...
Do you have any catnip?
Cuts the barrel off, makes it a sawed-off shotgun, which is more damaging.
It's going to be 9.
According to these rules, apparently a snub nose.
A 9 to hit.
My AC is 1 second.
Hopefully higher than that.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure. Let me just check. 12.
Base?
Yeah. Okay.
Well, you're wearing you should be wearing a tactical vest, shouldn't you? Because it's part of our base kit.
I would assume. What does that add?
Your armor class starts at 16 with the tactical vest, and then you add your dex to it.
So 18 to hit for me then, in that case.
It doesn't hit. As she comes, having to pivot targets is throwing her off her balance a little bit. She takes her claw gauntlets and tries to swipe at you. You are able to dodge it pretty easily because of how just off balance she is. VRN, you hurt.
I do hurt. I'm going to do again another pew pew, which I already rolled. And it's going to be an 18 to hit.
At the Jaffa.
At the one that just hit me.
Yeah. Okay, that hits.
And I use laser sights for that. Because the other one definitely did not hit. Oh, yikes. 5 points of piercing damage.
Is that single shot or is it a spray of bullets?
I've only been doing singles.
Okay.
So
you laser.
Unless I've been doing things wrong with this weapon.
No, you have a.
No, you can do that.
You have a choice.
I just needed to know.
Well, does that mean I roll more damage as part of that, and that's more attacks?
I'm just asking for the effect of how this guy goes down. Because five is enough to where you just see a sort of single spark off the Nakoda armor, and then they just fall over and collapse into a clump. There's no visible blood for some reason. The way they fell over almost looks like a stage fall, but they seem to be down.
It's a very dramatic stage.
It's a very dramatic stage fall.
Like it's giving play that goes wrong slapstick stage fall.
Not quite slapstick, but definitely seems like it was made for TV.
Also, I've introduced my
Murder
theories.
Havisham Manor.
And that Jaffa is now off of play. The one, well, we'll get to that on that turn. Keltec, it's yours.
Okay. Did it look like she didn't move at all to swipe at me?
I guess she would have moved one up. Yeah, sorry.
Okay, I'm gonna take like a similar spacing of steps back. Maybe. Oh, what's the range on this shotgun? Hang on.
That'll provoke opportunity if you get out of melee range.
Oh, that's also true. Okay, I'm gonna stay where I was then, and yeah, once again, take a shot with the shotgun.
Roll the attack.
That is a 12 plus. Uh, 13, 14, 16.
16 hits.
Right.
Somebody in this party is hitting something.
Hey, I'm here.
Jafakri.
I've been quite successful in what I wanted to do.
11.
May have
Rolled a 9 plus 2.
thrown
So
4
11.
d20 in jail, but that's fine.
11. How do you want to do this?
Oh, that was fast.
We're level 1.
That's
We're not TPKing.
Yeah, I'll just like right before I take the shot, I would have yelled exactly what you said, Jafar Kree, and just bam right to the chest.
She's blown back from the shock of the shotgun. Sparks flying all over her Naquita armor and her Naquita sort of claw bracers, as she's blown back for effect by a meter off the platform, off the rug.
In a very cheesy attempt to look cool in front of the Tari, I turn to O'Neill and go,
and in that moment, you remind him of someone. The one who has been standing at the table seemed to have been, at least for those 18 seconds, taken aback by Vanel's words at the outset, and has been paralyzed with indecision long enough for two of the other Jaffa who have been scattered to take advantage of the situation and sort of tackle them to the ground, pin them, and arrest them as a sort of witness. As the combat kind of dies down, O'Neill, who's pretty flustered at the whole situation, kind of turns to you after you say that. He goes, I assume you got her?
oh, to me?
Yeah.
I don't know. We both take shots.
Remind me never to take one of those grenades directly to my face again. And he's kind of rubbing his eyes, still kind of, now that he's not in combat, taking a proper moment to recover. Devok, who's kind of was off to the side cowering, kind of rushes back in. 1,000 apologies. I had no idea Renasha would do such a thing. And Colonel O'Neill's, yeah, well, it's not the first time I've pissed someone off. It won't be the last. And now he's kind of done rubbing his eyes, and his eyes refixate on the food that's right in front of him. Say, I'm in the mood for some cake. And he swivels to the rest of all you. We can chat about your future Phoenix side over a slice.
I like that.
Oh, such a good kitty. You are. Yes, you are. Oh, did they scare you? Oh, it's okay.
And as you all begin to recover and share in cake with Colonel O'Neill, who you figure might owe you one after this, that is where we conclude the recruit mission Catastrophe, which may itself be a pun. Catastrophe. That is where we'll end the one shot.
I'm assuming the cat's part of the squad now.
For
Yes.
tonight.
Biblically, yeah.
Thank you all for sticking with me. 43 minutes over. I appreciate it. It's a fun little time. If we ever do it again, we'll definitely have more of a leg up on some of the more intricacies and rules. Stargate SG-1 is a fun show, and I'm glad that this system exists. I'm going to attempt to get my family to play at some point.
For those who have seen the show, which sounds like maybe just Jody and I and Elias, does he do a good O'Neill impression or what?
Yeah, like your O'Neill was great.
Spot on, dude. Spot on.
I will take your word for it because I have no idea what was going on.
It felt like a good character, even though I didn't get the reference.
Exactly.
Richard Dean Anderson,
Best
folks.
character.
It is in this moment that my friends begin to realize just how much of my own dry humor was modeled over Richard Dean Anderson's O'Neill.
Oh, I didn't think about that.
Elias
Wow.
is the only reason he's not an Air Force seg to go into program.
That's definitely, yeah.
Decided.
The only reason.
I don't know if that's the word I would pick.
The only reason and no other reason at all. I don't know.
Every time someone asks me, how did you become a software engineer? I'm just like,
Process of well.
So thank you all for doing that. That one shot, as well as it's kind of cool the way they structure campaigns. They structure them as seasons, and each sort of thing is an episode. And so, like, each episode has like an act and everything. They do an official sort of like campaign, like canon campaign quote that you can run. And it's a fun little thing. And they also provide like guidance on how to make your own homebrew stuff. So it's a cool world to play around and explore in. Yeah. So thank you all for being my guinea pigs. I appreciate
Thank you
it.
for the caps.
We at this channel will now resume our Zelda content instead of Stargate content this coming Tuesday. And
Can we announce what's happening next week?
Oh yeah, we should do that. Next week, most of us will not be here, but Realms will still be happening in the form of a cross-channel collaboration. We are collaborating with D&D, the D&D Twitch show -1 Charisma, -1 Ka, because they have their main campaign that they do on their channel, but they also occasionally do a one-shot called The Legend of Schmelda that takes place in the fantasy land of Ja Rule. And it's it should be a very, very hilarious time. I can tell you that this upcoming Legend of Schmelda game is going to involve small hats. So,
and anyone that is a regular Realms viewer will recognize at least one of the players because Diane Hutton was a guest on Realms years ago. She played Steve the Korok.
Yeah, we know she's going to be playing. I'm pretty sure I'm going to be playing too, and we're going to translate both of our Realms of the Wild characters into this land. So, if you want to see interesting version of Aruna and Steve, then tune in next Saturday. It'll be a fun time. All right.
If you want to see what Aruna is usually like, tune into the YouTube channel or into the Twitch VODs, where you can watch all of the previous Realms of the Wild.
In the Twitch VODs, yes. YouTube in process.
Watch up to a certain episode in YouTube, and after that point, just tweet at Elias Thompson and bother him.
We're getting what, like 2 a week up on the YouTube channel? Like
the schedule.
We're trucking through it.
We're currently in Death Mountain in the backlog right now. So yeah, thank you all for watching. We will see you throughout the week for Zelda and next week for Adventures in Ja Rule. All right. That's all for us today, and we will see you next time. Adios. Jafakri.
No.
Wow.